When do cops lie in court, thinking they have the upper hand? They have no idea their victim holds a CIA clearance. What happens next turns their entire world upside down. Atlanta moved like it always did on a Monday morning, fast yet somehow stuck in place. Honking horns, muffled conversations, and irritated sighs from caffeine-deprived commuters created a familiar urban symphony. The air was thick with the scent of fresh coffee and exhaust fumes, painting a picture of routine chaos. But Jasmine Carter had no time for routine. She stepped out of her sleek black sedan, her heels clicking against the pavement with an air of certainty. No hesitation, no doubt. A woman on a mission. The Thompson Federal Courthouse loomed ahead, gray, imposing, a place where justice was supposed to live. But Jasmine knew better. Justice didn't live here. It visited occasionally, usually in handcuffs. Adjusting the strap of her leather briefcase, she gripped the weighty documents inside, papers that could shift the balance of a federal case. The kind of information powerful men would kill to keep buried. In her other hand, a simple folder, but the contents? Worth more than the careers of the men about to test her patience. She was 5 steps from the courthouse entrance when it happened. "Hey, hands up." Jasmine froze. The voice behind her was sharp, authoritative, the kind that came with a badge and the belief it never needed to explain itself. She turned slowly, her pulse steady, her face unreadable. To white officers, hands hovering over their holsters. Sergeant Rick Daly and Officer Connor Brooks. Jasmine didn't need a name tag to recognize their type. Different faces, same playbook. Daly stepped forward, chest puffed out just enough to make sure she noticed the badge pinned to it like it meant something. "Ma'am, put the bag down and step back." The words were calm, but his stance was anything but. Jasmine tilted her head, amusement flickering in her dark eyes. Oh, this was about to be interesting. "Excuse me, what's the issue?" Brooks' gaze flickered to her briefcase like he expected it to explode. Because, of course, a black woman in a suit carrying documents, clearly a national security threat. You match the description of a suspect involved in fraudulent government activity. Jasmine let the words hang in the air, absurd in their weight. Then she let out a slow, humorless laugh. "Let me guess. Black woman, nice suit, carrying important-looking papers. Yeah, that sounds real dangerous these days." Daly's jaw twitched. "Just cooperate, ma'am." There it was, that tone, not a request, a demand. Jasmine glanced at the courthouse doors, minutes away from leading a hearing, yet stuck here, treated like a criminal for existing in the wrong skin. "I don't have time for this," she said evenly. "I work here." Daly didn't even blink. Didn't ask a single follow-up question, because, to men like him, black people explaining themselves never actually mattered. The cuffs were out. Jasmine didn't flinch, didn't fight. She simply lifted her hands and let it happen, because she wasn't just playing their game. She was about to flip the whole board. Sitting in a cold, dimly lit holding cell, Jasmine remained poised, back straight, hands folded neatly in her lap, like she was in a boardroom, not behind bars. The walls reeked of sweat, cheap bleach, and injustice. But she wasn't just waiting, she was listening. Right outside, Daly and Brooks spoke in hushed tones, convinced she couldn't hear them. She had the documents on her. Brooks' voice was low, amateur. Daly exhaled sharply. "We just say she tried to pass them off as real clearance files." Jasmine's fingers tightened around her knee. Oh, so that was the play. They weren't just arresting her. They were framing her, the charge. Forgery and impersonating a federal officer. The irony was almost funny. Jasmine closed her eyes, not out of fear, not out of anger, out of exhaustion. Tired of the same old script, the same recycled lies. And mostly, tired of men like Daly thinking they could get away with it. "She's a nobody. Judge will believe us." They always do, nobody. Jasmine inhaled slowly. They had no idea who they were dealing with. She let them talk, let them dig themselves deeper. Then, the door to the holding area slammed open. Boom, like thunder before a storm. Enter Marcus Bell, Tall, broad-shouldered, suit so sharp it could cut glass. A defense attorney whose mere name sent prosecutors into early retirement. He didn't walk into rooms, he owned them, and right now, this precinct belonged to him. "She's coming with me," Daly tensed. "She's facing serious charges." Marcus barely blinked. He slid a thick file onto the desk with the confidence of a man who already knew he'd won. Daly frowned, flipping it open. "What's this?" Marcus leaned in, voice low, dangerous. "Just a little something from the Department of Justice." Daly's jaw tightened. Turns out Miss Carter isn't just some civilian. She's a consultant on federal security clearance cases. Silence. Brooks shifted uncomfortably. "That doesn't mean she didn't." Marcus raised a single finger. "Brooks, shut up. And that fraudulent document you claim she had?" Marcus smirked. It was for today's federal court hearing. Daly's face drained of color. Brooks swallowed hard. "She didn't tell us." Jasmine finally spoke calm, controlled, deadly. "Oh, I didn't. Must have slipped my mind. You know, since I was thrown in cuffs before I could even open my mouth." Brooks refused to meet her eyes. Daly clenched his jaw. Doubling down on the only thing he had left, pride. "We were just doing our job." Jasmine studied him like a scientist examining a failed experiment. "Oh, you think this is over?" And for the first time, they felt it. That creeping, suffocating realization. They had just made the worst mistake of their lives. The courtroom was packed. Cameras flashed. Reporters whispered. Daly and Brooks sat rigid, their faces masks of practiced neutrality. Then the door swung open. Jasmine Carter walked in. No cuffs, no fear, just power. She strode past them, heels tapping like a drumbeat leading to their downfall. The judge leaned forward. "Miss Carter, I understand you have something to present before the court." Jasmine exhaled slowly. Then she reached into her blazer pocket. Daly flinched. Brooks paled. And in one swift motion, she pulled out her CIA clearance badge. The room exploded. Careers shattered. Power gone. Jasmine simply smiled. "You played the wrong game with the wrong woman. Like this story? Subscribe to Unfolded Tales Explained and hit the bell icon for more.